Hello, all you lovely folks, and welcome to yet another fantastic multi-part adventure from the team at the Dungeons & Dragons Podcast UK. If you have been following our main campaign, The Secrets of the Silver City, you will have heard or read that we are currently taking a 6-week temporary break whilst we get some personal commitments done and dusted. In its place for the coming weeks, we are streaming a little something that we recorded back in 2024. So, without further ado, we proudly present an adventure with our very own Ryan in the DMing hot seat. It is based on an adaptation by Seth Harris and was produced from an original concept by Matt Colville of MCDM on YouTube. This is a free download for all those that wish to explore it. The links to the adventure and to Matt Colville's YouTube channel are in our episode bios. We hope you enjoy the fun, because we most certainly did. The DELIAN Tomb, Episode 1, A Brewing Storm. As the curtain rises and the lights come up, our scene is thus, dear listeners. Picture, if you will, a lonely trail upon which travels a wagon train with its band of brethren, amongst whom are a trio of fearless friends going about their business on a simple escorting errand in exchange for free travel.
So, tonight we'll be playing the DELIAN Tomb. The original concept was by a YouTuber called Matt Colville, and it's been adapted to a written adventure by Seth Harris. So we'll start with character introductions. Sam, if you're ready.
Yeah, sure, right. So my guy's called Alaric Nightfellow. He's level 2 tiefling warlock. Oh, and he's got a mouse companion, apparently, sort of companion friend that came to him. She's an albino house mouse, and her name's Seraphina, which means pale one.
Okay, thank you very much, Sam. Got it?
Right. I play Gilla Kutav, who is a hill dwarf fighter. Not really much more to say about him. Likes to hit things and likes the wine.
Okay, cool.
Likes to hit the wine.
Oh, he hits the wine.
Okay, excellent. And we'll finish off with Yaz, please.
Yep, so I am playing Chelutau the Eminent, more commonly known as Chel, who's a 2nd level cleric, a copper dragon and ancestry dragonborn. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Okay, cool. Short and sweet, that's cool. Right then, so to set the scene of where we are and what we're doing. You're an adventuring group, and your fates have come together, and at current you are on the road between the cities of Aramor and Broken Shield. You've managed to secure free passage by working as guards on the caravan. No one really expects much trouble along the way. It's fairly barren, very empty topography, geography, and yeah, so you're just there to secure the goods. There's a number of caravans. The caravan leader is Tiago. He is agreed to give you free passage in exchange for work. They reckon Tiago's done this trip numerous times, and he expects the trip to take about 5 days, give or take. So yeah, there's a number of caravans, about 4 caravans. And you're all just travelling along, either on the caravan, walking alongside, taking shifts, as it were. You set off, heading for Broken Shield, and everything's fairly easygoing. First day, not a lot goes on, yeah, just keeping on doing what you're doing. On the second day, however, is anybody proficient in nature or survival?
No from Chel.
No from Gilla.
I don't think so.
There's little asterisks at the end of them if you're interested.
No, not here either.
Okay, not a problem then. So, the second day continues with not much of a happening about it. As you get towards midday, very quickly and very suddenly, almost without warning, there is clouds gathering on the western horizon, and it soon becomes apparent to everyone that foul weather is ahead of us. A strangely warm wind carries a subtle scent from the west. A hazy orange light suggests a sunset is near, but it's not even midday. As dark clouds twist over the hills, Tiago, the caravan master, orders the wagon drivers to push on in the hope that shelter is not too far ahead. A cheer goes up from the lead wagon, and word soon spreads through the caravan that a steadhold has been spotted. A small cluster of buildings comes into view in the valley ahead. As the caravan approaches, you can pick out a large barn, several two-storey houses, and some buildings. Simple plank walls connect the buildings to create a large protective courtyard. The caravan pulls up to the large gates, and at the front of the compound a helmeted head peeks over the wall. From where you are in the caravan, slightly further back, you can't quite make out what Tiago is saying to the person, but his dramatic gestures towards the oncoming storm is unmistakable. After a few minutes of discussion, the caravan lurches forwards into the courtyard. Wagon drivers quickly get horses loose and into the barns, or any sort of shelter they can find. The homesteaders are in the middle of their own preparations to take a few minutes to direct the caravanners to the houses. The party, along with Tiago and the higher ranking merchants, are ushered into a large house. Inside, the furnishings are simple but well built. The family members are in worn but clean clothes, and a man who seems to be in charge of the steadhold approaches Tiago and says, "We don't have much. It'll be a while before the spring crops come in. We've just got what's left of our winter supplies, but we'll try to keep your folks warm and comfortable until the weather passes." You find yourself sat in this steadhold with the offer of shelter until the weather passes.
Lovely. Thank you for offering us shelter. What is your name?
I am Elias Mabbott.
Oh, it is pleased to meet your acquaintance.
It's nice to meet yours. Under better circumstances, it's slightly rushed, I forgive you, but say, you are more than welcome to take shelter here. We are a small community here. There's probably a few dozen of us, 30, 40, mainly two families. My family and the Treeham, my cousin's family. We all stay here. We are a self-sufficient community. We grow crops and brew ales, and what we don't need is sold on for profit, and what little we get for that we use to upkeep the settlement.
Well, it looks like a very comfortable. It looks very nice. It's a lovely house, and yes, very much appreciated.
It's okay. It's not a problem at all. So as this is going on, you can see other family members not rushing around, but you can tell they're moving things about, getting ready for the approaching weather. They've seen it coming as well. And then as one woman passes by, Elias pulls her in close and say, "We have guests tonight. I think we should start preparing the evening meal."
Okay, I guess I would overhear this. Alaric would overhear this. Is there anything that we can do to help?
Oh, no, just nothing. Do make yourself comfortable, and we shall get tea, dinner ready, and we shall enjoy abundance. We don't have much, but we'll give freely what we have. You'll share with us, but as I say, it'll be all we can spare.
Right, well, I think Alaric would sit back, find himself a chair and sit back, and at that point I think he'd get the little wooden box out of his backpack, and which has got some holes in it, and he'll just slide the top open, and he's going to take out Seraphina, his pet mouse, who's been travelling in there. So he's going to let her out to stretch her legs, and she's just going to run up one arm and across the shoulders and back down the other, and just squeak a little bit, and he would just talk to her softly. He's very fond of her.
Okay, that's cool.
Giles will be looking to see if he can find any wine.
Okay. Are you skulking around looking for it? Are you?
Yeah, he's looking. He's casually walking around and looking in any jug. You said they brew beer.
Yeah.
He didn't mention anything about wine, so he's going to see if he can find some. Just
yeah,
have a quick spec in any of the decanters, etc.
Okay. What is your? So you're actively looking.
Yeah.
Okay, righto. Can you make a perception check, please?
Shit, we've gone off the reservation already.
That's 15 plus 1, 16.
Oh, very nice. Okay, so
You find 16 points.
unfortunately, Chilla, you don't find any. You don't find any booze. Unfortunately, that's a simple way of putting it. But what you do notice is obviously it's a small settlement. There's not a lot in the way of furnishings. Everything's quite plain, everything's functionable, but function over form, if you will.
Okay.
But one thing that does strike out with a 16 is a mounted case on the wall. And on the case there is, inside it there is a plaque, and on the plaque is mounted a sword and a mace. The mace and sword, are of average quality. You can tell they're obviously quite old. They are not of this era, if you want to call it. And below them in the display case hang, crossed over, a pair of gloves, particularly nice looking gloves. But yeah, that's set up there. It's above the mantelpiece, on display. Okay.
Are these gloves metal gloves? Are they like gauntlets, or are they leather, or?
They are fabric gloves, yeah, like leather gloves. Yes.
Okay. Well, I mean, in the meantime, Chell will probably take a look around for anything in the nearby vicinity which looks like it could do with mending. If she spots anything, she'll cast a quick mend cantrip at it, just to fix it up a little bit. But other than that, probably kick back, pull out the lute, and start very gently strumming and humming an old kind of folktale song.
Okay, that's good. Yeah, that goes down well. A lot of people are enjoying the music as they're rushing around. You can obviously tell that preparations are underway now for the evening meal. As you look around for things to fix, you find it's a functioning farmhouse essentially. So it's not in the way of decoration or anything. You find like a broken rake and maybe a wheelbarrow that the shaft that the wheel runs on snapped. It's just been left to one side near the door. So yeah, you can cast mending on those, and you can describe to me how does it go down? What happens?
Yeah, so Chell will kind of open palm towards the broken part, whisper a couple of words in a very kind of gravelly voice. She is dragonborn. She's a bit gruff, a bit tough, and almost kind of like an invisible force, but the only real kind of indication that something is fixing is you'll see it very slowly begin to kind of straighten up. Anything that's kind of twisted will untwist, paint will begin to kind of reappear and fleck back on, just that kind of, just almost like a reversal of time.
Okay, brilliant. Yeah, so you cast your mending spell, and as you say, the paint sort of melds back on, and all the limbs of the rake straighten out, and yeah, it's not going unnoticed. And say people are, get a few passing comments. That's good. We don't get many magic users out this way. That saved us a couple of hours one day fixing that. Thank you. So, if everyone happy with what they're doing?
I think so.
Good.
Sadly,
Yeah.
I'm a dwarf who wants wine and he's got none.
Shade? You're getting the old come down shakes now, are you?
The shakes.
Okay, cool. So, things progress. Everyone's doing their bits and bobs. Alaric's playing with his mouse.
Yes.
Jilla's looking for booze. And Chell's on the lute. Excellent.
I get this imagination that Jilla's walking around going, trying to sniff it out, just get the feeling that that's happening. That's a thing.
Okay, cool. So, as you can tell, preparations are being made, tables are being pulled around, rearranged, this, that and the other, and everything's going on. And all of a sudden, a young girl bursts through the door. Runs straight up to Elia. And she, Peter, they've taken Peter! To which Elias turns round, proclaims, What's going on? What's all this? And, they've taken Peter. We were out collecting herbs for the dinner, and they came and they've taken Peter. Huge, giant, monstrous, big teeth. And she's in a right state. She's completely beside herself. Tears and snot and all sorts of stuff streaming down her face. And Elias is trying to calm her down and try and figure out what's going on.
Who is Peter? Who is Peter?
She sniffs and looks round at you, unknowing who you were. Peter's my brother.
You have a brother? How old is your brother?
Oh, he's older than me. He's 12.
And someone has taken him?
Yeah, we were out by the beehives collecting, and big monsters came with teeth and swords. And they were tall. They were very tall. They had teeth. And they've taken him away, and I don't know where they've taken him.
Alaric's going to look at it slightly confused, a little baffled perhaps, and look across at oh God, what's his name? Elias, yes. Elias, and say, this is your son, Peter? Is this your son? Is it?
No. This is my granddaughter. This is Maya, my granddaughter.
Oh, Maya. Oh, okay. Can we be of help? This is not usual, I take it.
This is not good. There's not normally any trouble out here. We're normally quite quiet. As you say this, you can tell a few of the farmers they're scrambling around, picking up what they can: torches, shovels, forks. You can tell that they're not well equipped.
Well, I think maybe we should go and help these people.
Well, I think it is the least that we can do in this circumstance.
But I'll warn you, I'll build up a first.
Well, surely that is secondary to this problem at the moment.
Right, first things first. Is there like a cloth hanging around which Chell can see?
Cloth? Yeah, there's probably, well, I wouldn't say cloth, there's probably some, like a table wiping rag.
Yeah, is it something relatively soft looking?
Yeah, you'll find something like that, yeah.
Yeah, first things first. That is getting picked up. She's going to walk over to Maya, hand on the back of the head, other cloth, hand with the cloth, wipe her face, over the nose, blow.
Yeah, Maya blows and there's a stream of teary snot now in the...
Yeah, mop her up, clean off the face as best as possible. The rag is getting tossed somewhere. It's not staying in the Chell's vicinity, it is getting tossed. Don't care where it lands at this point, it can stick to the wall for all Chell cares.
I was going to say, I get this vision that it's like going to slide slowly down the wall.
She's going to look at the girl, put a hand on her shoulder. She's probably quite startled from the random cloth assault. Are you injured? Are you hurt?
No, I'm okay. Peter was up by the beehives. I was down the hill a little bit and I saw them take him and I hid and then I ran back. I come to get Grandad.
Okay, good job, little one, good job. So Chell is quite imposing. She is a 6'2", hulking female dragonborn with scale armour on. She is quite a hulking, intimidating figure. Good job, little one. Right, you go clean yourself up. Right? Anything else you can tell us about the scary things with swords? Teeth, swords. They teeth like mine, and she's gonna like lift up the lips into like a kind of a smile grimace, but it's probably gonna be quite horrifying.
Yeah, so Maya sort of cowers away, doesn't really say much, but just mouth open, just nodding like.
Yeah, I think this would just get an eyebrow raised from Alaric and a slight curl of the lip himself. Like, what?
Yeah, so Maya's still being held by her granddad and sort of backed into him, nodding at your grimace.
Yeah, the lips are going to go back down as soon as kind of got the assent there. Going to look at Alaric. Right, should we get a plan in place then?
Yes, I don't think that we should hang around too far, because if they've taken him, they are leaving already. They are getting further away.
Are you making those gestures as well?
Yeah, no, I have to do this again. I'm waving, like, ha!
Helps get into character.
It does, doesn't it? Yeah.
Okay, cool. So so Elia looks around at the few men that have grabbed their tools. We'll take them out to the beehives. We'll show them where it is. Hopefully we'll be able to find something out there that gives an idea of what went on. Okay. Is there anything you need? We can, if you're going to help us, anything we've got, we'll gladly lend you, give you whatever it takes. We've got to get Peter back. And a couple of the merchants who sat around with you, they sort of nod and say, "Yeah, we'll agree." So, discounted items, anything on the wagon is yours, half price.
Alaric's just going to wave his hand. I am not bothered about these things. Serafina, and then he's going to pick the mouse up off his shoulder, pop it back in the box, shut the lid, and pop that back in his backpack. Okay, how are we going? Let's just get going. Let's try and track these people.
Okay, so is everyone happy to keep?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yep.
So Elia throws open the door to the main house, down the steps, out towards the main gate. The chap who let you in with his little helmet on, he still stood there by the door. Tell it's probably his job to be stood on post. The main gate opens, and out you go.
Has the weather closed in at this point?
It's getting there. It's raining a little bit. It's coming on, if you know what I mean.
Okay, Alaric's just going to flip the hood of his cloak up, so his face is shrouded and his head's covered.
Okay. So, Elias and a few of the braver farmers lead the party to the hives where Peter was taken. A rising wind whips over the fields and there's a damp smell in the air. A misty rain is falling and the characters approach the hives, which sit at the far end of the field. Further on are the hills, and you can see the tops of the trees, dark trees in the distance. So, as you approach, you see a collection of beehives, as Maya suggested. The hives are at the top of the hill. You're approaching uphill. As you come up the hill, you can see a small basket with some herbs in it, whatever he was collecting. And you come there, and you're all stood around and looking down at this basket.
Can we start doing a bit of an investigation around the hives?
Yeah, you can do, yeah. Right, so we can go for... so what are we looking for then? What's Chell looking for?
Being of a fairly rational mind, any clues as to what could have happened? Was he picked up? Were there drag marks? Is he being dragged off? Is there any blood, footprints, anything of that kind of nature? I think. Okay, so
we're going for sort of like essentially trying to find some tracks or trails or
kind of, yeah.
Okay. So we'll let you go for a survival or investigation check.
Okay, can go for a survival since I've got a bonus on that one.
Okay.
A 12 plus 2 for 14.
Okay. So, what you can detect from this, you notice there are a number of tracks. Most of them are from a similar sized creature. You would say fairly confidently they're probably a number of goblins. There is, however, some larger prints, tracks, and they are from a larger creature. You can't quite discern which one that is, but you can determine that the smaller ones are goblins.
Okay. And is there any kind of blood or indication that there's been an injury, potentially?
There are there's swirls in the grass, there's obvious signs of a struggle. There's no sign of blood or any injuries, but yeah, it's definitely the sign there was a struggle.
Okay. So kind of, I'm going to say that Chel's probably kind of kneeled down to take a look at this. Signs of struggle, no blood, possibly unharmed, but I'd say probably some fair few goblins. And something else which I can't quite make out. Either of you got a bit of a clue?
Alaric will kneel down next to Chell, sort of scratch the top of his hood and take a look. Yep, that's it, we're all back. Sorry about that.
No problem.
I do apologise, that was entirely my fault.
Okay.
Sorry.
No problem. Just give me a couple of minutes to read ahead. So, where we left off, we were in the middle of doing a investigation and a sniff.
Alaric will turn to...
a scratch and sniff.
Scratch and sniff. Alaric will turn to Chell and look quizzical and just lift his arms up, lift his hands up, palms up, like, I don't know. I'm afraid I don't know any more than you. I can't tell.
Oh. I think I was going to tell you something. So, I think I was in the middle of sort of explaining what you were finding.
I thought I didn't know anything else.
Yeah, sorry. I think we got cross purpose.
Distracted by a sniff check.
Yeah, distracted by a sniff check. So, you do your investigation, and Gilla does his sniffing. As you see, as I said, you can find out roughly what Chell found. So yeah, you have a look around, and you can see the same sort of markings, the same. Possibly not as in tune with what's going on. You can see footprints, and you can't discern the sizes as well as Chell has. But working together with Chiller, you get a rough idea of which direction the tracks are leading off. Whether it's helped by the smell or whether it's helped by just a fresh pair of eyes. And you can see that the track leads off between the beehives and towards a wooded area beyond.
Well, I definitely say smelly goblin.
Yes, well, there
That
are
way.
yes, there are smaller tracks and bigger tracks. So obviously they tend to travel in bands, don't they? Okay, well, we better move on and head in that direction.
As you have this conversation, you can see there's Elia and the handful of farmers that have followed him are looking at you with an increasing measure of worry on their faces. Did you say goblins?
Yes, goblins. They usually travel in bands, or usually several.
There's no goblins around here. Never seen any goblins around here. Up that way, that's just the Ballwoods.
Well, these tracks here would suggest that there are, in fact, goblins. Are you sure?
Again, they sort of mutter between themselves and don't know where they've come from. We've been hunting in those woods for years. There's only boars in this. That's what it's called. It's called the Ballwood. If there's goblins in there, I don't think we're any match for them. They show you their forks and their spades, and someone's got like a broken handle off a wheelbarrow in his hand. And if there's goblins in there, we're not equipped for that.
Well, look, time is moving on, the weather is moving in, and you really ought to go and somebody needs to protect your homestead. And we will go on.
Yes,
So, Elia nods in agreement. Please, bring Peter home alive, if you can.
Alaric will turn to Chell and Gilla and just say, I think we need to move quickly. I think we need to pick up the pace, and I think we need to go find him.
well, I totally agree with that. But I'd say, if I was you, when you get back, I'd get that sword and mace out and get ready with some proper weapon.
The mace, maybe. Just can't really degrade the quality of a mace with the sword. I doubt it even cut butter, but take the sentiment and we'll get ourselves locked up. And he walks forward and towards you, Chell, and puts his hand in his pocket and presents you, says, we don't have much where we are, but please take this. It might bring you some luck. It might be a bit superstitious, might be a bit of an old wives' tale, but have my lucky stone. And he places into you into your palm a dull red stone.
Okay. Chad will probably turn it over. Is there anything particular about it, or is it just the stone?
You get the feeling it's probably not a stone. There's definitely something magical about it. You've been in tune with the arcane arts. You can tell there is an element of magic to this stone. So it might not be hokum. But for the moment, for what it is, you don't know. You'd need to spend more time talking with it.
Alaric would turn to Chell and just hold his hand out. Just drop that in my hand for a moment. I'll do something as we walk. And he'll just hold his hand out for the stone.
Yep. So Chell will pop the stone into Alaric's hand, saves using a spell slot, I guess. Chell will turn to Elias, hold out the loot by the neck. Look after my loot. Hope it brings you some luck. I'll be back to collect it.
Okay, we'll do our best. And sort of just hold it. You can tell he's probably never held a loot before. He's just like holding it out by the neck, the body dangling down. He's like, looking up and down. Okay, he just tucks it under his one arm, and when you come back, he'll be waiting for you. Thank you very much.
No worries.
Alaric will begin to cast as he starts to walk. He'll begin to cast Identify as a ritual, which will take a minute.
Okay. So are you going to do that now in front of the party? Or are you going to wait for the party to? The party of farmers is what I'm getting at.
No, I think he would start to walk away in the direction of the boar wood.
Okay.
And he's got it in his hand, and will start muttering and casting as he walks away, just clutching it tightly in his palm.
As the party of farmers kind of begins to leave, I'll reach out and pluck one of the torches from them. I'm assuming they're not going to argue with me.
No, I doubt it very much.
Yeah, I'm just going to pluck one of the torches and just kind of, thank you very much, I'll have that.
Yeah, so one of the farmers, slightly terrified as a huge hulking dragonborn, just reaches forward to him without warning and puts his hand on his torch and just like pulls it from him. But he looks at you and just looks slightly relieved that you haven't done anything more, but just nods it. Oh, yeah. Help yourself, yes, yeah. No problem.
Yeah. Full-fanged smile.
And, so the farmer just sort of looks at you, his eyes go slightly wide, the head goes down, he just carries on going.
Well, Jilla will head towards the wood, because he's got dark vision, so he doesn't need.
Okay, yeah, fine.
So he will keep slightly ahead.
No problem.
Alaric will drop in straight behind you, because Alaric also has dark vision.
Cool. Okay then, so unless you want to be anywhere else, Chell, are you happy being at the back in this marching order?
Yeah, I'm assuming. Yeah. I'll just follow at the rear, just kind of trail after them.
No problem.
I get the image of the hill dwarf taking like quite quick, short strides, and then Chell at the back, kind of long and loping.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah.
Yeah, and Alaric feels quite comfortable sandwiched between the two.
So we're going to do like the whole like bump in height.
It's
so
like
the see where they go because they're looking over the head of the person in front.
The evolution of fantasy.
Well, Alaric and Shell ain't much difference. You're 6'1", she's 6'2". But the thing is, with the dwarf in front, everybody can see over the top of him.
I hope I've got a headwind, otherwise I'm going to catch it all, aren't I?
if he's at the back, he'll see nothing.
True. You can look through the legs.
No, he's mid-root to chest height.
Okay, so we are wandering in. Alaric is casting Identify, I believe?
Correct.
Okay. What's your name? Jilla, are you attempting to keep an eye on the track, on the smell, or are you just going into the woods? How are we doing
I'm
this?
trying to follow it.
Yeah.
And every now and again.
Okay.
Sniff.
Okay, yeah. So we'll do Jilla first, and then we'll come back to Alaric. So now you've got your head in where you're going. You've between the three of you, you've identified what sort of tracks you're following. Your mind's a little keener, a bit more focused on the task. So we'll make another survival check just to see how well you follow these.
That's
with advantage, because yeah.
That's a 14/17. -1 is a 16.
Okay, yeah. So with the damp weather and generally under cover, you can quite easily follow these tracks through. So you can tell the weather's getting a little worse. The weather's getting a lot worse. The rain's starting to come in. The rain's getting more intense. From time to time, you can start to hear branches creaking and cracking and all manner of noise. The wind whipping through the trees. you can tell the storm is starting to set in now. It's getting a bit bleak out here. But what this does allow, with you now with your head firmly in the game and you're following these tracks, it allows Alaric to almost go into autopilot behind and concentrate on the spell he's casting. And what you do as you identify this as not a red stone at all. You identify it as a very, very dirty, very unwell kept. Obviously, the person who's been holding on to this has no idea what it is, but you've found yourself in possession of a ruby of the War Mage. Okay.
That's cool.
If you would like the explanation, I can give it.
Yes, please.
Okay. It is a common, wondrous item. This item requires attunement. It must be by a spellcaster. Etched with Eldritch runes, this 1-inch diameter ruby allows you to use a simple or martial weapon as a spellcasting focus for your spells. For this property to work, you must attach the ruby to the weapon by pressing the ruby against it for at least 10 minutes. Thereafter, the ruby can't be removed unless you detach it as an action or if the weapon is destroyed. Not even an anti-magic field could cause it to fall off. The ruby does not fall off the weapon if your attunement to the ruby ends.
Okay. As Alaric's walking, he'll sort of... I don't think nobody else is going to see this, but his eyebrows will go up and he'll go, to himself. That is interesting. He will then fall back slightly, walking next to Chell, and then hand the stone back to Chell and say, it is a ruby. It is a ruby of the War Mage. It requires attunement. It can be used on a simple or martial weapon to cast your spells. It requires 10 minutes to attune. You press it onto the weapon.
Huh. Interesting. Not just a simple stone then.
No, it is. They probably just thought it was a dirty red-coloured stone. It is actually a ruby if you clean it. And he's going to rub it slightly on his cloak and hold it out in the rain to allow any smushed dirt to just wash off it and look at it and say, okay, we are losing the light, but you can see. And he's going to hand it back to Chell.
Okay.
So I believe this was handed to you, so I will hand it back. Hope that helps.
Chell will take it, and do you have any use of it, Alaric?
I have a dagger, but I don't... I'm a magic user. I do not really use weapons. It is probably not best for me.
Okay then.
Interesting item though.
Hey, Jula, you got any objections if I use this ruby thing?
No.
I don't know whether you heard any of that, Gila, because you're up front. I shouted a little bit. It is a magic stone. It can be used on weapons to cast spells. You a spellcaster?
Nah.
Well, I think that answers your question, Chad.
Okay. And what? Chad will take the ruby into the palm of the hand, right hand, draw the mace, and just kind of hold it there and kind of start tuning.
Okay.
Yes?
Yeah, it's cool. Yeah. We'll roll this as you can, as long as you're not doing anything else, as long as you're not following a track or climbing, jumping, swimming, anything like that. You can probably do this as you're walking along, taking 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So we are currently walking in the same marching order with Agilla at the front, Alaric, and then Chell at the back, pressing the stone into space. Okay. So as you're walking along, Gilla is following the trail. It's quite easy, but you can see now that this weather's setting in now. It's getting quite So yeah, it's starting to drop dark now. It's getting into the evening, let's say. So you're probably going to need to either keep moving, marching through, or that's whatever you want to do. That's up to you guys.
Is it dark by this stage?
It's almost dark. It's not quite. You can still see where you're going. So obviously with dark vision, you guys can. Chell with the torch, not a problem. Yeah, you can carry on making progress if you want. It's more the weather that's stopping you now, or potentially stopping you.
Having fallen back into my marching order, moving ahead of Chell again, I think Alaric would probably... Gila, it's a bit windy now. Can you hear me, Gila?
Yeah.
Okay, just hold up one moment. Everybody's going to kind of gather. I think everybody will bunch up then and gather up. And look, we can either take shelter under the trees, try and find some solid trees that aren't look too fragile. The only trouble with if we stop and rest is that we're going to lose the tracks anyway. With the wind and with the rain, the tracks are going to be difficult to follow, I think. What do you want to do? Do you want to push on for a while, or try and make some ground, move a bit quicker, or what? What do you think, Chell? Tracking is not...
What would Chell know about goblins and their kind of habitats, ways of living?
Question. What can we go for? What do you check that? Not a knowledge check there, is there?
Nature, perhaps?
Nature, maybe history.
History, maybe, yeah.
Yeah, we'll go for a history check.
Okay. Seven plus 0, so straight 7.
Okay, yeah. You've obviously been an adventurer. You've dealt with goblins before. You've come across them in your work, for whatever you've done. Whether you've been working with as a contract or whether you've just happened upon them, you know that they hang around in small bands. They're very rarely solitary. They are more of they live in a small band or community, whichever way you want to call it. They're quite superstitious. You don't know a great deal with that role, but you know they're probably going to be a small group of them. They're probably going to be held out with some sort of base of operation or encampment of some description.
Okay. Gilla, do your people are underground types, aren't you?
Why, yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Goblins like you like that? They live underground? They taking shelter somewhere?
Yeah, most likely they'll be holed up somewhere. They don't like water all that much, apart from a bit of drink. But yeah, they'll be holed up close. And if we wait too long, I know it's hard to see the trail now, but if we wait too long, there will be no trail, and that poor lad's going to be probably in the soup.
So, breaking it down a bit, we've got a bit of a time pressure situation going on. Lad's in danger. We know from what you're saying that they're probably going to be relatively close, holed up in a cave or some such. And if we don't get a move on, we're going to lose the trail. I mean, if they're like us, they're not going to have gone far in this weather.
Nope. I'd say follow this trail, get as close as can, and smack a few heads.
Okay, are you having this conversation Did you say you were under a tree on this conversation?
I just
that's
stopped.
caught me
I think we just stopped and bunched up.
Okay, no problem. Yeah, that's fine.
I suggested that if we stopped, it might be wise to try and find
Okay,
some
that's
shelter
fine.
that was a bit more sturdy.
No problem. Okay, so continue.
I think we should go on, but
Okay.
I can't force anybody.
Okay, so where are we going with this, darling? Group?
Chell, what would you like to do? What do you think we should
Well,
do?
they're
Trekking
not going
isn't-
to have gone far.
No, I agree. This is really awful weather.
The longer we spend talking, the worse it gets. So let's press on and see if we can find them.
Okay.
Okay, cool. Okay then, so you continue to follow. I'd say it's, although the weather is getting bad, there's rain coming, you're in a wooded area, so the tracks are still fairly well preserved. You can continue to follow them quite easily. You follow them for a little bit longer, continuing through the woods until you reach a tree line. At the break of the tree line, there are tracks that lead out onto the road. It's an old road, you can tell it hasn't been used, more of a footpath or a trail than the road, let's call it. And quite obviously, tracks go up the road and you can continue to follow those. During this time, enough time would have passed. Chell, you would have attuned to your ruby, so that is, you can class that as a tune now if you want. If you want to see the written description of it, it is in Xanathar's Guide to Everything, page 138. If you want to look at it.
There you go.
Okay. And yeah, so you guys go off the road, still making fairly good progress. You're locked in on this trail and you keep following it. Short distance up the road, maybe a couple of 100 yards, 500-600, something like that. The trail takes a very sharp turn left and starts to climb. What we will do now is, if we're all on the same boat, have a perception check, I think.
Ooh, lovely.
11 plus 2, that is 13.
Okay.
Shell.
That's 2 plus 1. Okay. 3.
3 for Jill, yeah.
That's a 16 plus 3, which is a 19
Okay.
for Alaric.
Cool.
I'm glad someone's paying attention.
Yeah, that's cool. We've got something. We can work with that. Okay, so you're just about to turn off the road, and you can see there is no discernible trail that's leading off the road. You can still see some goblins' footprints, and still there is a number of goblins plus one larger creature. What you can see with a 19 is you can see quite clearly top of the hill there is a ruin. You can see stone construction, possibly a tower, part of a castle or something like that. It's hard to tell. It's obviously been very, very destroyed, very battered and wind ruined. Obviously of an age gone past. There's not a lot left of it, just maybe the corner of one tower and just the footings as such. But what you can see with the 19 is a faint glow of either a campfire or a torchlight.
Okay, Alaric will quietly step forward, sort of jump forward and touch Jilla on the shoulder, and then as Jilla looks round, he's going to go shh, holding his finger up to his lips, and he's going to point ahead, because obviously Jilla is shorter than him, so perhaps can't see over the top of the hill.
Okay. Yeah.
And just indicate a pair of eyes and like a finger at each eyeball, and then point and say, camping ahead, there's a fire.
Like this. Gillette will sniff the air See if you can smell goblins.
Okay.
Which way's the wind going? 1 to 6.
Go on then. I'll let you make a perception check. We'll go for it. Why not?
That's an 11 plus 1, that's 12.
Okay. With that, you can still have a faint aroma of goblin, let's say. You can't really discern much more from it. It's probably what you're smelling is more from the tracks you've been following. Just now you're out in the open, you've broke the tree line, the wind's carrying further, and it's damp around. It's not helping with discerning anything further than where you are stood at the moment. Okay.
With wild weather looming, the entourage and their wagons sought shelter at a nearby homestead. The head of the household was generous, his hospitality forthcoming, food, drink, and warm, friendly environment. But it was not long before bad news was knocking at the door, and it was a concerning case of a kidnapped kin that became the source of the family's fear. It was time for our heroic trio to set wrongs to rights. Well, that wraps up this first instalment, folks. Tune in next week for episode 2. Shelutau the Eminent, a Dragonborn cleric, was played by Yasmin, Alaric Nightfellow, the Tiefling Warlock, was played by Samantha, and Jilla Cortav, the Dwarven Fighter, was played by Colin. The DELIAN Tomb is a free downloadable adventure adapted by Seth Harris from an original concept by Matt Colville on YouTube. It is available for download from DM's Guild or DriveThruRPG, and you can check out MCDM online and Matt Colville's work on YouTube. All the links are in our episode bios.